What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for a keep, loan or sell. We've got a lot of players to get through, all the loan players coming back. We've got some academy players in there as well. And obviously the first team squad that were, part of the squad last season. So you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Starting off with Fraser Forster. Are we keeping him? We're not loaning him, or are we selling him?
Yeah, loan him for some experience. I think we should sell. I guess.
Didn't we just give him an extension on his contract?
When was that?
Was it halfway through last season?
I can't remember. Or was it last? Was it this season or last season? I can't remember. We gave him an extension.
Either way, I think he's got a year left. Yeah, a year left.
So keep letting him run down his contract.
Keep letting him run down.
I'm not going to sell him. I mean, not going to get any money for it. So I don't really want him to play Europa League, to be honest. But I'd rather Vicario just has those games. But we're not going to get any money for him. So unless we need to free up space, he's good for homegrown. He could even be just third choice, even if we sign another one.
Yeah.
So I guess just keep him. He can play the Scott Carson role.
He was on the list, though, wasn't he, that Spurs will be looking to get rid of?
Obviously, we're willing to listen to offers for him. Yeah, if we can get some money for him, then great. But if we're not going to get any money for him, we might as well stay around and just be a homegrown player.
He'll get the wages off the bill.
I doubt he's on big wages.
Any wages is wages for Levy.
But he just helps with the homegrown quota.
Yeah,
so he can play that Scott Carson role.
Well, you know what? He's on 75 grand a week.
That's a lot of money. Who's going to pay? Look, as I say, if we can get someone to take it, then fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we want to happen. It's not what we think's going to happen. So I'm going sell.
Oh, I'd sell him then.
Sell for sure. Fraser Forster in sell. Rodrigo Bentancur up next. I mean, he's obviously in keep, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, you say obviously, as some people have some doubts on him now after, not a great season, but we know he's been recovering from that injury. I'm fully of the opinion he's going to get back to his best. And we all knew it was going to take a while, so it's no surprise. So, yeah, I'll keep him for sure.
Yeah, and I think he showed signs towards the end of the season of getting back to those levels. And I think with a pre-season behind him, he will be definitely, a really key player for us next season. Next is Alfie Whiteman. I mean, he's been here too long. I think he just needs to go now.
Yeah, I think so. Sell him. I don't think we've ever really trusted him. He's never made a first team appearance. He's 24 now?
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, I think sell him.
Jed Spence, one of the worst signings in history in terms of the way it's gone. We were so excited when we signed him. Had a fairly good loan spell at Genoa now. I think you could probably get a bit of money for him.
Yeah, sell him. I think if we can get any sort of money back. Obviously, we spent, 20 million on him? 15 to 20 million.
Get 5 million, we get lucky.
Yeah, I think if Genoa want him, let him have him. So, sell. I wouldn't even loan.
Yeah, Jed Spence goes into sell. Ben Davis, longest serving member of the team. I don't think he's ever really let us down, but if we're looking to sign a left centre-back, where does he really fit in next season?
Yeah, I think we should sell him if we can get money for him. Again, if he's around next season, it's not the end of the world. But I think in a perfect world, we'll sell him.
Yeah, I agree. Bless you. So Ben Davis goes into sell. Next up, Tanguy Ndombele. I'll let you. I don't want to have anything to do with this one. You
another trophy in the bag.
You deal with it.
What was that? 2 league titles in a row for him. How many trophies have we won? We could do with that.
He's probably got more trophies than starts.
Yeah, we need that trophy winning experience. Maybe if we kept him, we would have a trophy. So
every summer, man, we have to go through this. Every summer.
Look, another title in the bag.
I'm just depressed talking about Tanguy Ndombele.
Is this just a coincidence? What's what I'm saying? Is it a coincidence? Every time he goes out on loan, he wins a trophy. I'm joking. We should sell him. I'm
even tired of the jokes. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of the Tanguy Ndombele jokes. What, last summer you weren't joking?
No, last summer I wasn't joking. This summer you're the one who started the jokes and you say you're tired of it.
Vicario, obviously keep.
Yeah, keeping him, number one.
He's had a brilliant season.
He's an injury away from potentially starting for Italy.
Yeah, And last summer, some Italian fans were saying that he should be starting for Italy.
Should be.
Next up is Brian Hill. I mean, his time has come and gone now. He needs to go.
Yeah, get rid. No place for him in the squad. Has never really impressed, so has to sell.
Alejo Veliz, very disappointing loan spell for him out in Sevilla, was kind of used as a pawn between the manager and the hierarchy of the club. He needs a good, successful loan spell where we proper target him somewhere where he's going to start week in, week out for that particular club.
Yeah, very disappointing his season. I think he'll be disappointed as well. The fact that he signed for a decent fee, 13 million after a good season out in Argentina. He probably felt like he was going to get some game time, he was really going to progress, or even if he got a loan spell, you know. And it's kind of been a year of stagnation. Obviously, he did get his first Premier League goal against Brighton, but that will be scant consolation for a poor first season. So it's not poor because of how he played, it's just how it's happened. So it's unfortunate. He needs a good loan spell. He needs games. So
Alejo Veliz goes into loan. Next up is Yves Bissouma.
Yeah, I think we're keeping him. I think I'd keep Bissouma because I know we know what he's capable of. We know what he can do. I know he's had an inconsistent season. He had a pretty poor second half of the season. But I think unless we get a good offer, it's worth keeping him around. And then also, obviously, we're going to sign number 6, but as competition, that'll be good. So I think we should keep him.
For me, with Yves Bissouma, I wouldn't mind seeing the back of him, to be honest. 2 years at the club, only had a handful of good games. Those good games were very good at the beginning of last season, don't get me wrong. But it's just been 2 years of disappointment for me, for Yves Bissouma. I was so excited when we signed him. Wouldn't mind selling him. But on the flip side, I wouldn't mind keeping him and having him as the backup number 6. I don't want him as the starting number 6 next season. I think we need to buy someone that's going to come in, consistently play well over the course of a season. And Bissouma just hasn't shown that he can do that. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and we'll put him in keep. But we need to sign someone that's ahead of him in the pecking order.
Yeah.
So Yves Bissouma will go into keep. Next up is Mickey van der Ven. This is the easiest keep in the whole tier list.
Best centre-back in the league. Come on.
Japhet Tanganga built himself some value. I'm not sure how much we'll get for him because I think he's going into his last year of his contract, but had a really successful loan spell at Millwall. I'm really happy for him. So hopefully he can find a home where he's going to get consistent minutes.
Yeah, I would sell him. I would sell him, get some money for him. First time in his career, really, he's had consistent game time over a 6-month period. So he seems happy, he seems like a new person, and I think he needs a move. So sell.
Yeah, so Tanganga into sell. Next up, we are looking at Oliver Skipp. And for me, I don't really know where he fits in. I love him. I love Ollie Skipp. Academy graduate, always puts in his heart and soul into every time he steps on that football pitch. But I just don't know where he fits in anymore. So I think I'm going to go sell.
Yeah, I love Ollie Skipp. I really had a lot of belief in him. But I just think under Ange, I don't know if he's suited to this way of playing. I do think he's going to go for, whatever money he goes for, I think he's definitely a Premier League player. I think he could be a very good player for a Premier League team. And I think he's still got a long way to develop. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of him, in my opinion, because I think, when he first broke into the team, I think he was showing such a good level, and I don't think he's ever been as good as that since. And I still think he's got that potential to hit those levels again. But I think at this point, we're looking at more central midfielders. We're looking at midfielders of a certain profile. I just don't think Skipp fits that profile. So I would sell him.
Yeah, agreed. So Oliver Skipp goes into sell. Ryan Sessegnon also will go straight into sell.
We're releasing him. So.
Yeah.
Out of our hands, this one.
Next up is Manor Solomon. Has come in on a free transfer, played 5 games, been injured for the rest of the year. I would love to say keep, but we need players that are going to be available, and he's just not available.
Yeah, I would sell. I question whether he's good enough when he is available. And I know he's only had a handful of appearances, but I never really was convinced of him at Fulham when I did see him play. Now he's had 2 big injuries last 2 years. He's still fairly young. He'll be 25 next season, so it's not like he's old, but we're probably going to need to make more signings in his position now, push him down the pecking order even when he is fit. So for me, if we can get any money for him, if we can get some money for him, 15, 20 million, I'll sell him.
Yeah. So he goes straight into sell, Manuel Solomon. Next up is Cuti Romero, and we all know where he's going. He goes straight into keep. What a player. Leadership mentality, winner's mentality, and he's probably had his best season in the Spurs shirt, so he has to go straight into keep. Next up is Sergio Reguilon. And you know what? With Reguilon, we do have a spot for him in the squad next season, especially with the players that we want to get out the door. But has his time come and gone at Spurs now?
Again, I don't think he's suited to the way Ange wants to play his fullbacks. Also, we did have him, and we decided to get rid. We even decided to loan him out for no fee to Man United rather than keep him. So I don't see any spot for him at the moment in the squad. So I would sell.
Yeah, Reguilon goes into sell. Emerson Royale. I think we all know the opinions on Emerson Royale, and unfortunately, good guy to have around the place, but quality is not quite there in this system, so he has to go into sell.
Yeah. Get rid of Emerson. I think he's not, again, just not technically good enough for Ange Ball.
Timo Werner, not currently our player. We had him on loan, but we do have the option to buy him. So I guess, do we want to take up that option? I don't think so.
No, I think I'd rather not. I'd rather go for someone better. So technically it's a sell, even though it's an end of loan. But it's a not sign if we can make an extra tier.
Yeah, we'll just put him in sell for argument's sake. So Timo Werner goes into sell. Richarlison up next. It's going to be an interesting one because...
How many players we've got? We've got 4 players in the squad at the moment. 5
players.
We've got 5 players in the squad.
Yeah.
Right.
Richarlison, for me, it's so difficult because he has done well this season. What is it, 11 Premier League goals? Mm-hmm. But I just do feel we need someone better. And I feel like with the money that he did cost and the money that we could potentially recoup from Saudi, I feel like we can get better with that money.
It's an interesting one. It's like it kind of, in a weird way, depends on how we see Son. If we see Son as a winger, I would keep Richarlison and sign another striker. If we see Son as a striker, I would sell Richarlison and sign another striker.
Yeah.
So
I do get the feeling that they see him as a left winger.
Who's Sonny? Yeah. That's the thing. That's the because recently anyway, that's where we've been playing him, and that's where his best performances have been in the last few weeks of the season. So on that basis, I'll keep him, which I'm not mad about. And then you also sign another striker to compete with him, and then and that'll be good, and he can get a lot of minutes in the Europa League, and I'm sure he'll start a lot of Premier League games anyway. So I guess keep if we're keeping Son out on the left. I guess we keep him. But if we get a good offer, I'll take 50 to 60 million for him if we can get our money back, and then improve. If that gives us a bit of leeway, but then would have to might have to sign 2 strikers then. And is that worth it?
Too much to do.
It's a bit too much. So on that basis, I'd keep him.
Yeah, I do. Like you said, I think.
Are we going to get 2 strikers? Are we going to get 2? It's going to be hard enough getting 1 striker better than Richarlison. If we have to get 2, are we going to get 2 better than him? I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, good point. All right, we'll put him in keep. I like him around the place, and I do like Richarlison, but I just feel like we should be getting better, and maybe we should still be getting better with him still at the club. So Richarlison goes into keep. Next up is James Maddison. Not a great second half of the season. Did improve towards the end, but he's obviously a keep.
Yeah, we're going to keep him. Vice captain. He's an important member of the squad.
Heung-min Son, not even worth talking about. He goes straight into keep.
Keep. Lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract, exactly. Dejan Kulusevski. I've had my issues with Kulusevski. I still don't think he's hit those heights of when he first joined here under Antonio Conte. But I do recognise that he's got really good attributes. I feel like he can play a number of roles in the team, whether it be down the middle, in the 9, false 9, as a 10, as an 8, as a right winger, and really sparingly maybe as a left winger as well. I think we keep him around because he's just got supreme abilities.
I agree. I think he goes into keep. He's versatile. He can fit into a number of roles, and I think he's worth keeping around just for his ability. So we keep him.
Next up is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and it feels like he is on the verge of leaving. Didn't go out to Australia on the post-season tour, so I think he goes into sell.
I agree. Sell him. Not suited again to what Ange wants from his midfielders. He's just not good enough when he has to make quick decisions on the ball, and I think he wants to leave as well, get some regular starts somewhere else. One more big move in his career, I feel, at 29. So, yeah, sell.
Brennan Johnson just come to the club, first season, 15 goal contributions, which I think is good. He has shown, definitely signs where he can improve, and I'm backing him to do that. So I think he goes into keep.
Brennan, yeah, keep. I'm not going to sell him. Yeah, definitely keep.
Giovanni Lo Celso, unfortunately, he has to go to sell. Probably has his best season in Spurs shirt in terms of performances, but with the injuries that he keeps getting, with him going into the last year of his contract, he has to be sell.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just too unreliable. Even when we needed him, there was that point when we needed him when Maddison got injured. He just wasn't available enough. He had a couple of games where he looked like he was going to fit the bill and then got injured again. So, unfortunately for Lo Celso, it's a recurring problem, and we need players who are available. So, sell.
Joe Rodon built up some good value for himself this season on his loan spell at Leeds. It's rumoured that Premier League clubs are sniffing around for him, so it goes into sell.
Yeah, if we can get a good fee for him, I think sell. And he's had a great season in the Championship. Proven for me that he's ready for the Premier League, but I don't think it's Tottenham.
Yeah. So Joe Rodon goes into sell. Pedro Porro up next. He's one of the easiest keeps. Unbelievable football player. And I really hope that he uses the pain of him not getting selected for Spain to really spur him on next season. And I think he will do that.
I agree.
Radu Dragushin, I think he's proved his worth towards the back end of the season, even at the left side centre back. So yeah, he's an obvious keep.
Yeah, only been here 6 months, needs more time to develop. But yeah, there was some question marks with some of his early performances, but later in the season, once he was playing alongside Van der Ven, seemed a lot more accomplished. So that's the key.
Next up is the star boy, Pape Matar Sarr. I love this man so much, and I think he's got levels and levels to go up. I think he's a future absolute star of the Premier League in the box-to-box number 8 role, so we know where he's going.
Yeah, he's going to keep.
Brandon Austin is an interesting one. He has been back up since Fraser Forster has been out. There are emerging keepers, though, in the academy when you look at Josh Keeley, Luca Gunter. So I probably think you sell him.
Depends what our plans are for the keeper situation. He could be a third choice. I don't know if Gunter and Keeley are, maybe we want to loan them out. So I don't know if they're going to be around to play that third choice. And a third choice keeper who's English, maybe it's just worth keeping around just to, make up the numbers kind of thing.
I believe his contract is almost up. I'm not sure when it is. Brandon Austin, let's have a look quickly. Contract is up the end of this season. So do we give him an extension or do we release him
now?
Yeah.
Probably give him a year extension.
You reckon?
I wouldn't be surprised just to keep him around as third choice.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I probably would. I don't know, actually, because is it halting kind of Keeley and or Luca Gunter, really? Is it halting their progress by keeping them as a third choice keeper? Probably.
Is it progressing them? Is it progressing them being third choice keepers?
Yeah.
Probably not. You probably want them to be out on loan. I don't think they're going to be around. I think they'll be out on the under 21s or out on loan, in my opinion. So on that basis, I'll probably just keep Austin as third choice.
All right, we'll keep him. We'll keep Brandon Austin. Next up, Destiny Udogie. Really excited to have him back. We've missed him so much since he's been out injured, so he's an obvious keep.
Definitely.
Now we're going to get into the youth players. So how do we do these youth players? Because if we want to keep them in the youth, are we putting them as keep?
If we want to keep them in the under 21s, yeah, unless we want to loan them or sell them.
All right, so George Abbott, 18 years of age, has captained the under 21 level a number of times this season. Obviously captained the side to winning the PL2 Cup or the PL2, and I say keep him around in the under 21s for another year at 18 years of age.
I agree. Good year for him. Really shown leadership ability, so I think keep him in the under 21s. Don't think he needs to go out.
George Abbott goes into keep. Next up is Ashley Phillips. Good loan spell at Plymouth. Got their Player of the Year award. I think probably another loan spell this year, maybe to someone higher up in the Championship or maybe even lower down in the Premier League.
I agree. I've been really impressed with some of his performances. And I think, obviously, Plymouth were in a relegation battle, so someone challenging the playoffs, that kind of level, would be brilliant experience for him. So Ashley Phillips goes out on loan, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Next up is Will Lancashire.
I think he has to go out on loan.
Yeah, he had a smashing season. Best finisher in the league. 23 goals. Highest goal scorer in the league as well. So he has to go out on loan because he's proved himself in the under-21s now.
Exactly. I think he's scored so many goals. It's way too easy. I don't... at 19, I think he is. I don't know if he's ready to... Well, he looks physically quite ready, to be honest, doesn't he? So maybe it would be worth keeping around the first team, but I think a loan spell in the Championship or League One or something, see how he fares at men's top-level football, and it'll be interesting to see if he can score goals regularly, so I think a loan deal.
Alfie Dorrington up next. Has had injury problems this year, but when he's been on the pitch, he has looked a level above in terms of a ball-playing centre-back, being able to charge up the pitch. Physically, he looks fairly ready as well. So I think Dorrington should be getting a loan spell as well at 19 years of age.
Yep, I agree. I'm really intrigued to see how he would get on loan. So I think a loan spell for him.
Luca Gunter he's really emerged this season as the number one choice for the under-21s. Looks like a real good keeper, big, strong, claims those crosses. Looks like he's pretty good with the ball at his feet as well. Good shot stopper. He really came alive in the playoffs for the PL2, and a few games before that as well. So I would say give him a loan as well.
I think I would keep him. I think we need a keeper to play that role, don't we? Can't have no one in
Maybe
goal.
Keeley.
Keeley goes back to under-21s.
Yeah.
Well, but he was out on loan.
At Barnet, yeah.
Yeah, so why not send him out alone again?
I feel like
He's
Luca
not a bit
Gunter
older.
might be ahead of Josh Keeley now.
Why? Because he had a few appearances under 21s.
It's not a few appearances. He's been the number one for pretty much the whole season, and he's had an amazing season.
But wasn't Keeley there already?
Keeley, I guess Keeley is a year older. I don't know. From what I've seen from both keepers, I actually think Luca Gunter might be ahead. I think both of them should go out on loan.
But yeah, but then they need a keeper.
I think we've got another keeper as well. They're
I'm
not
sure
the
we
only
have
two
loads,
keepers.
I think keep Gunter and loan Keeley. That's what I would do.
What other keepers do we have? We've got this keeper, Kari Blondot. We've got Elliot Krasnicki. Samuel Archer's going to be up there in the under-18s. Charlie Warren. I mean, there's loads of keepers there.
I'm sure they're the under-18s.
Yeah.
They have to be ready to be promoted.
Yeah. We don't know about them.
No. So I'd assume probably one of Keeley or Gunter will be kept on.
Is that the best for his progress? If he's shown like he's more than good enough for that level?
I've seen a few under-21 games. I know he makes a lot of good saves, but I know Keeley's been on loan. He's been quite good at Barnet. So I do think another loan deal's in order for him. So I don't know if Gunter is ready for... How old is he?
Gunter, I think he's 19.
So I would say another year in the under-21s at 19. That would be good for his progress at 19 for a keeper, for sure.
Yeah, he's 19.
Yeah. Keepers don't usually break into the team till they're at mid-20s, usually.
Yeah.
So I think
But Keeley got the loan spell at 19.
He did. And that was very impressive.
So why shouldn't Gunter?
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying they need a keeper for the under-21s. And he's doing well, so keep him there and loan out Keeley again. Because Keeley was out on loan and did well.
Okay, I'm saying loan him, but we can keep him if you want. Next up is Alfie Devine. Good loan spell, up and down loan spell actually at Plymouth. Definitely proved his worth. Was up for man of the match in the last game for them. I think another loan spell probably for Alfie Devine.
Yeah, I would be tempted to keep him and have him around for like Europa League and see how he does, because I'd be interested to see if he could make that step up. But I think it would be safer again. Another loan deal, a higher end Championship team would be good. So I think he was really good at Plymouth, and when he did get opportunities, maybe he did lose his place near the end. But from judging from what I've heard, he's done really well. So I think another loan just to help his development.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alfie Devine to go out on loan. Next up is Tyrese Hall, which is a really interesting one. He seems to be having a really good reputation about him. Got the upgrade from the under-18s to the under-21s this season, was a star in the second half of the season for the under-21s, went on tour with Tottenham to Australia, and he really looked the part in that second half, albeit against a youth side that turned out for Newcastle in the second half as well. But he does look like a serious talent, doesn't he?
Looks like he's ready, to be honest. The way he conducts himself. So I'd be tempted to keep him, like in the first team. Not obviously, he's not going to be starting loads of games at 18 and whatever, and obviously we're going to be signing players, but, you know, he can have a few appearances in Europa League potentially. He can be part of match day squads. You know, any injuries, maybe he can step in. Like, I'd be very tempted to keep him around.
The thing is, like, if we are going to buy two central midfielders, a 6 and an 8, let's say for argument's sake, Conor Gallagher and a number 6 comes in, that means you've got like 4, potentially even 5 midfielders ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. He's 18. He doesn't have to have loads of game time. But obviously, and he'll still have the under-21s there to keep that up. But I think he looks really good. He looks like he could be ready to like make a contribution. You
got to remember though, like in that game against Newcastle, it was against the academy of Newcastle, like players at similar age to him. So. Yes, it was a really good performance, but it was against, you know, his kind of counterparts who we would have been playing against, like week in, week out in the under-21s. So it's not much of a different level than what he's been playing this season. So that's why I think probably if you do put him out on loan to like a championship side, and you get him starting week in, week out, maybe even to a higher end League One side, and play him in men's football week in, week out, I think that will really aid his development.
I think what I'll do is keep him for 6 months and then do it in January.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. So that's Tyrese Hall. Next up is Jamie Donnelly.
I think he probably needs a loan because I think he smashed down the under-21s. Another player, maybe I'll keep him around for a bit just to see how he does, and maybe he can fill in some Europa League and European games. Because a lot of people are talking about him being ready for first team action, physically ready. Obviously, he was really good for under. He looks like he's a physically too good for the under 21. So, yeah. Does he need a loan, or do we want to see what he can do for us?
Loan for me. Loan. I think at the age he's at now, 19, nearly 20, I think you want to see him play consistent football.
What
now.
Is he? A number 10? Would you say?
Yeah.
Number 10. Okay, so send him out on loan then.
So Jamie Donnelly goes out on loan because I think he's on the cusp now, and we want to see him like. I think he's on a similar level to like an Alfie Devine. You know, that kind of where he's at in his career. We need to see him play consistent football at a better level. Next up is Judson Sotbell. He was up for Player of the Year in the under-21s, but he did tail off towards the end of the season last year. He's 20 years of age, so he's at an age where you probably want to see him play consistently now. I don't think he's good enough for the first team just yet.
Okay, so I think a loan deal, another one who could do with a loan deal and see how they fare. Sending out a lot of players on loan, but I think it'll be good for their development to play football. There's more stakes involved, and you have to be more physically ready. It's going to tough them up a bit. So yeah, another loan spell.
I don't know, like how many like you're legally allowed to send out on loan, because there is a limit, isn't there?
Can't remember.
Was it
8?
8. I thought it was. I had 9 in my head, but maybe.
Well, no, but I remember the rule is you can't loan in more than like 5 foreigners. I can't remember what the actual rule is.
Anyway, we'll put him out on loan. Judson Sotbell. Next up is Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore already started to make his way in the first team. 2 appearances in the last 2 games of the season, smashing it for the under-17s for England at the Euros, top goal scorer in the tournament as of time of recording. I would like to see Mikey Moore in and around the first team next season and maybe loan him out in January.
I'll keep him. I think
there's something special about him.
It's a bit too risky loaning him right now at 16 anyway, as much as he's doing really well. And if he is that special, that he's ready for first team football already, then you might as well maybe give him see what he can do in the first team. So I'll keep him around and take a more serious look at him.
Next up is Niall John. Niall John is 21 years of age now.
I remember he started under Nuno, didn't he, in that
In the Conference
game?
League. He's got 1 year left in his contract. I do question if he's going to make it at Spurs, Niall John. I'll probably go sell for Niall John.
I think sell him if we can get a good offer for him, in my opinion. As I know he's done well this season, but, you know, I think he's been at this level for a while now and he hasn't progressed yet. So I think we should sell him.
Yeah. So Niall John goes into sell. And the last two, first one is Iago Santiago, which is an interesting one. He's got 1 year left in his contract. He's 21 years of age now. He's had a really good season for the under-21, so he can't go back there next season. So do we loan him? Do we sell him? Or do we keep him, Santiago? I still feel like he's not ready for first team. Yeah, I feel like give him a last chance to go out on loan, see what you can do in a first team, and if he doesn't cut it, then we got to release him at the end of the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell him because I don't think his stock is maybe at his peak. So I think I'll loan him, see if he can, you know, perform under better, harder circumstances, because he's had an unbelievable season. And there's been a lot of talk about we should probably even be giving him a chance, but unfortunately we haven't. But I think a loan deal to see how he fares, and then maybe we can have a player there if he does well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Santiago is going out on loan, and last but not least is Diamond Dane Scarlett. He seems, out of all the under-21 players, the player that Ange is willing to give a chance to, as opposed to, you know, the Jamie Donnellys and the Santiagos and the Sunsot Bells. I might even favour keeping Dane Scarlett around, you know?
Or keeping him.
Yeah.
From the first team. From what I've seen, I think another loan deal would be better, in my opinion. Because, I don't know, when I've seen him make appearances, he's done all right. Hasn't really been able to impact the game too much in most circumstances.
I think he's looked really good in terms of movement. I think his physicality looks a lot better than what it used to look. I feel like he makes so many good runs and players fail to pick him up at times. I really like what I've seen from him.
I think he's been okay. I just don't think he's really impacted the game. Like he's not yet able to hold off a marker yet. He's not able to turn and shoot and get shots off yet. He's makes a bit of a nuisance of himself, but doesn't really impact the game in terms of actually ever really looks like he's going to score or something like that. So I think probably another loan in the Championship. I think he needs that more of that experience. But because last season was a waste, wasn't it? Absolute waste. 6 months at Ipswich where he never played.
Yeah.
Came back to Tottenham, didn't really play that much. Had a few appearances late in. So I think that probably stagnated his career. So I think he needs a loan spell where he's really going to play often, week in, week out.
Yeah.
He needs more game time.
Yeah, that might be true. So all right.
Do we leave out Troy Parrott?
Yeah, Troy Parrott's not there, but Scarlett will go into loan. Troy Parrott will go into. I mean, we don't have them to put him in tiers, but Troy Parrott goes into sell, and Lucas Bergvall goes into keep.
Yeah. I'd probably rather keep Troy than Scarlett.
Would you?
Yeah, because Troy's more ready. We know Troy can probably do it more likely to do it at a top level than Scarlett right now.
I probably go the opposite way.
Do you not agree with that?
What, that Troy's more ready?
Yeah. Well, he is. He scored 13 goals in the top league. Do you think Scarlett would do that right now?
Yeah, I don't see why not in the Eredivisie.
You think for Excelsior he would score 13 goals?
Yeah, why not?
I don't think so.
Why not?
He hasn't shown it anywhere that he's would.
Yeah, but Troy didn't show that for Spurs either.
No, but that showed me that he's done really well. I don't know. I don't believe Scarlett would right now. I don't know if he has the confidence to do that. But Troy proved a lot of people wrong with that long spell.
And I think Scarlett would prove you wrong if he was in the Eredivisie as well.
I think in the future, maybe. I think if last season, if he was in the Eredivisie, I don't think he'd get 13 goals like Troy did.
But maybe I think he would next season, though.
Maybe. I would rather keep Troy than Dane right now.
Interesting. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who would you rather keep, Troy Parrott or Dane Scarlett, to be part of the first team next year? And do you agree with our keep, loan or sell? I mean, that's a hell of a lot of players going out. A hell of a lot.
How many players are actually keeping? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 18. That's an 18-man squad. So we need 6 or 7 signings there.
Yeah.
24-man squad, 25. 7 players.
Yeah, maybe we'll put those players and we'll use it for another video to see where we actually need players for, and saying maybe which youth team players can be part of that, because maybe some of those loan players can be part of that squad then if we need so many players.
Not including Bergvall.
Yeah, so 19.
We've got Mikey Moore in there, so yeah. Okay.
All right, well, there you have it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.